Hello friends, you are welcome to this module. I am Victor Ikoria Idako, a member of the Geoinformation Society of Nigeria and the founder of the VIX Geospatial Co. In our previous module, I taught us how we can do, digitize our satellite imagery. We previously dereferenced our imagery and digitize the imagery. We created shapefile and then digitize the imagery. And in this module, we'll be working on the symbology of our data. We'll be working on the symbols and the representation of the shapefile created, and then we'll be producing our first map. All right, let's ride on. Here is a complete digitized work of the study area we were working on in the previous module, and this is to let us know that it took me a while for me to digitize all the buildings that you can see on your screen and the road network. So but I left the trees so that one can see where I stopped in the digitized trees. And please, in the course of digitizing your work, remember I had to pause the video and digitize the entire study area and then continue in this module. So while digitizing, it takes a little time. Digitizing is a huge process in the GIS training or in the GIS work. So as a GIS expert and a GIS specialist, you have to perfect the digitizing process and then get it done. So here I have been able to digitize the buildings in the study area and also the connectivity of the road in the study area. So next we'll be looking at the symbology. Symbology, these are like the representation or the features we can see on our screen. So every feature has their own symbology representation, like we did in the previous module for the trees, where we clicked on the feature below the trees, and it gave us the symbology selector where we selected a particular symbology. So right now I can change my symbology to something else. Maybe it's a cycle, and I can click OK, and we have the trees changed to a cycle symbology. I can click on it and then go back to changing it back to asterisk 2, and it goes back to symbology. So here we'll be treating the basic symbology. In next module, we'll be looking at detail on how to symbolize our work and how to go about creating locational map. So here is the basics of symbology. So one can click on a symbol beneath a layer and then bring out the symbology. I can click on the road network. I'll have different road symbology or different road representation here, or I can specify mine by clicking the color of interest. I can also increase the width or reduce the width, and then click OK. Once I click OK, this selected symbology tends to apply on my work. So in this case, I'll be changing it to major roads and then clicking OK, and you will, on our screen, discover that the symbology is changed to black color. And also the building. Also, one can change the symbology by right clicking on the feature or the shapefile we are working on, and then go to properties. And in the properties environment, properties environment, the layer properties user box will appear. Then you see different layer. We'll be explaining the layer properties in the next module, but here we just want to go into the symbology. So you can click on symbology. It takes you back to the symbology environment, where you can click on this symbol we have, then you can change the color for the building. And like I said, in this module we are introducing symbology. In the next module, we'll be discussing detail on the detailed symbology categories. They have a category, you have the quantities, you have the charts, and the multiple attributes. We'll be using them to represent our our layer and see how best we can present them. but in this case we'll be using simple and single symbology. Like I can click on the building here, then I'll click on fill. I can choose a predefined symbology representation. I can then choose this. I love using yucca yellow color representation. I can click on it, then I can click OK. Then my building changed to yucca yellow. I can also change it to red if I want to change it to red. Then I can change it to red, but let me make it dark yellow. Then also the outline of the symbology can be changed. You can increase the width of the outline of the building, or you can change the color to red or whatever color you are interested in. And then once you are done, you then click OK. So having arranged or prepare your layers or the shapefile based on, and you are okay with the shapefile, the next is for you to produce your map. So in this case, we'll be producing our map. And in the previous module, we explained that we have two types of views in the Arcgis environment. We have the data view and then the layout view. On our screen, we'll be using all this while the data view. Then for you to be able to produce your map, you need to change your view to layout view for you to produce your map. So for you to get the different views, you go to the menu bars here and then click on the views, and we have the data view which we are currently working on, and we have the layout view which is seen on your screen. So on the layout view, we have a layout of, it gives us the layout of environment, where the paper size, give us the paper size that are currently working on, and we have the map in the environment. So here you can click on the center of the layout, the layout view, and then expand the vertex of your map for it to fit in. And having done this, you can right click on the road network or the features. The largest feature, it could be boundary, it could be road network, and then zoom to layer, and it tends to zoom it to layer. But in this case, due to the nature of our road, we tend to use our pan. We'll pan it to the center, and then use fix zoom in to zoom in a bit, so that we can get a better view of the image. You can go back a bit, so we have our zoom in. So this is how you can zoom in. You can right click on the largest coverage layer, and one can click on zoom to layer. It tends to zoom into the layer. Or you can use your pan, you can use your fix full extend, or you can click on fix zoom in, which we used, or fix zoom out for you to increase using the fix zoom in, or to reduce using this fix zoom out. So, and in map production, we have 5 basic elements of a map. If I should present this file as of the picture format and give it to somebody, without those 5 elements, one can call them maps. So the 5 elements are: we have the title, we have the legend, we have the scale bar, we have the north arrow, and we have the coordinate grid. So these are the 5 basic elements that makes a map. So now we'll be adding the element. First, let's add our legend. So for you to add your legend, first you must first of all have your data in the layout view. So if you don't have it in the layout view, your legend won't be visible. So the next thing, for you to bring in your legend, you first of all go to insert. In the insert option, we have different options. Then if you go down, you can see your legend. So once you click on your legend, we have the legend wizard box appear on your screen. If here we have the map layer, that is the item that you can see in your table of contents, and we have the legend items. These are the items that will be appearing in on your legend. So if I don't want this item to appear, like the trees to appear on my legend, I can click on the back arrow here. It will take my tree back to the map layer. So we can see the trees appear on the map, but we will not see the trees appear on the legend. Also the same thing with the road network or the building. Or let's say we have a layer that is not visible on our map, but is shown on our legend, and want it to be is shown on our map layer or the table of contents, and we don't want it to be shown on the legend. we can click on it here and then click on, like in this case, our pro imagery is not visible on our map, but it's shown on the table of contents, but we want it to be shown on our legend. We can click on it and then click on the greater than arrow, and we have it shown. And once we click next and we click on OK, we'll discover that the pro image will be seen on our legend, but we don't want the pro image to be shown on our legend, so we'll click on it and then click on the less down arrow. So having shown, and also one can rearrange the items on your legend by clicking on it and then clicking on the navigation bar here. One can move them, like I can click on the trees. Let's say we want the trees to be at the bottom, I can click on it, it takes the trees to the bottom, or I want the trees to be at the top, I'll click on it, it takes the trees to the top, or I can move it up and down using the middle arrow. So having arranged and then determine what layer should appear in your legend item, then one you click next. So in the next here is the legend title option. Here you can change the title of the legend from legend to key or whatever information, or how you want to change it. You can also increase the font size, increase the font, change the font color, change the font style, and then add other things. Either you want it to be aligned to the left, to the right, or to be justified. One, you can also do it here. So this is just the title for the legend. So if the title is okay with you, you can then click next. So next is legend frame. Let's say you want a borderline on your legend. You can click on the frame here, frame option here. It gives you different predefined style for legend frame. Then if you can click 0.5 points, you can click on the single nautical dash or double nautical dash, and you have your them selected. So in this case, we'll be choosing the single nautical dash. Then we can also have background. If you want your legend to have a background color, you can give it a background color by clicking on the drop down here. Let's say we want we need linear gradient, so we're going to choose the linear gradient, and then we have drop shadow. Drop shadow helps in giving a nice color to your legend, where once you have your legend, you have a drop shadow beside it. So we can choose a drop shadow. We have black. Let's say we want gray 40%. So once you specify what the properties, your border, what your border should look like, how the background color of your legend should look like, or the drop shadow should look like, then next you just click on next. So here is all about the size of the shapes. So you can click on this. You can increase the size, the width, or the area. You can also modify it how you want it to appear here. Click on road. You can also change it like the line. You can change it if it doesn't fit into what you want. Then you can also click next. Then next, these are the spacing between parts of the legend, different legend, how you want them to be from the title, what the spacing between them, the title and the legend item, what is the spacing between them, columns, what are the spaces, headings and classes, what are the spaces, and so you can increase the spaces by typing using your keyboard. So also you click on finish. So at the end, having specified the settings and how you want your legend should look like, you then click finish. So here we have let me increase this so that I can explain different segments. So at the inside the legend we have the background color, around the legend we have the borderline, and beside it we have the drop shadow. So we can click on the legend. Once you click on the legend, we have different vertex. So with this vertex you can increase or reduce your legend, then or you can click and hold, left click, hold and drag down to whatever portion that you're interested in or you want it to be, then it will be there. So this is adding the legend. Next we'll be adding what? Our north arrow. So to add your north arrow, you go to your insert option, then you go to north arrow. So we have north arrow here. Then like the Arcgis gives us so many options to choose from. So you can choose whatever pleases your client or whatever pleases you. You can select. In this case, we'll be selecting Esri Not 9 Not Arrow selector or the shape, we'll click on SU not 9 and I'll click OK. Once you click it, you can go to the center of the not arrow. Once your mouse pointer changes to cross, you can click on it, drag, and then move it to whatever portion you want it to be. So in this case, I'm moving it to the top top right of my screen, and then expand it a bit so it will be visible. Then the next will be adding what? The legend. For you to add the legend, you first of all go into your insert like we've been doing. You have you can have you add your scale bar, we were adding our scale bar. You can add a scale bar or scale text, depends on what you want to represent. Then you can click on scale bar. So it will give us the scale bar selector where you can choose this predefined design of your choice. In this case, I'll be using this design here. Then once you've selected a design, you then click on properties. So once you click on properties, you can specify numbers of divisions, number of subdivision. You can also specify the division unit. Take note of the division unit, because the division unit is very important, because your scale bar helps one to perform measurements on your map. So I'm going to leave it in kilometers, and I'll click apply, and then OK, and then OK here. And then here we have our legend. So once my mouse pointer changes to cross, I can left click, hold, and drag it to maybe to my bottom left of my screen. So I'm going to expand this a bit, also expand it a bit. So here we have our legend. Then the next will be adding the title. So there are two ways of you adding title. You can go to the insert, you can click on the title here, you add your title, it gives you a box for you to type your title, or you can click on the text box, it will give out a text box for you to type your title. So I'm going to use the title environment, and here we have I can give it a title as GIS class map production. So I haven't typed my GIS class map production. I can click OK, and here we have the title at the top. I can click on it, take it at the top, and then here I have my title. So the last but not the least element is the coordinates. The coordinate grid is not, you can't get the coordinate grid via the insert option. So the first thing you do for you to bring in the coordinate grid, you click at the center so that you have the selection having the boundary or the background of the map itself be selected. From there, you then go to view, and then you have data frame properties. So like I said, for you to bring in the coordinate grid, you click on the data frame of your map, and then you now go to view, and then click on data frame properties. So in the data frame properties, we have a whole list of properties. You can have the general and other data frame properties, but in this case we are interested in grid, so I'm going to click on grids. So in the grids, I'm going to click on new grid. So in my new grid, we can click on graphical. You have the representation here. You can click on measurement. You see we have the representation here, or you can click on referencing. You have the representation here. So in this case, in this class, we'll change it to graphical. In the graphical option, I'll click on next. So you can have appearance as labels only, tick mark and labels, or graphical and label. So I love using tick labels. So having labels only, we can leave it as labels only, or but I prefer using a tick mark and label. So you can choose any one that you feel you're okay, you're comfortable with, and then apply it on your map. So I'm going to click on the tick mark and label, and then I'll click next. I'll click next. So we have the graphical border. You can specify what the graphical border should be like. Place caliber border at the edge of the graphical, or place a single border at the edge of the graphical. So you can choose any option of your choice. And having done that, you then click on finish. So having finished the graphical or the grid selection and the settings, you then click apply, and then to see how your grid is displayed on your map. In this case, we have the vertical, the left and the right side of the representation in horizontal, and we want them to be vertical, and also the the grids or the coordinate are not legible enough. So what you do for you to have that done, you go to properties, and then the properties option, I'm going to what, increase the size to under label, like we have axis, interior labels, lines, hatching and interval. So under labels, I'll click and change it to, let's say, 10, and then I'll click vertical. Let the label on the left and the right side be vertical. I'll click on it, and then I'll apply, and then OK, and then apply, and then finally, haven't seen a display that is okay to what I want, and I'll click OK. So here we've added all the 5 basic elements of our map. The next thing we'll do is for us to produce our map. Have it in mind that this border that we have around our image is just the paper size. So the best option is for you to have a line to show the end of your map. And for you to do that, you need to bring in the drawing menu bar, the drawing toolbar rather. So the toolbar, for you to get the drawing toolbar, you go to customize, and then in the toolbars you look for draw, and you have go to toolbars, you click on draw, and you have draw. Mine is at the bottom top here, so I can drag it down for we can all see the menu bar. So here is the draw toolbar rather. Here is the draw toolbar. So here is the toolbar. We have draw, we have different items or options you can choose from, but in this case we'll be using what, the rectangle tool. So I can click and drag it up. I click on the rectangle tool, and then I'll click on this side, click, hold, drag, and then bring it down a bit. Then I'll pan, I can scroll here down, and then drag here down a bit. So having done this, you know, the inner color is covering our map. So the best thing you do, you double click. Once you double click, you have the properties option brought out. Then what you do next is for you to click on the fill color, and then click on no color, and then you click on outline. You can choose whatever color you want the outline to be. In this case, I'll be looking at black. Then you can increase the outline width. In this case, I'll be using 2. Then once having done this, I'll then click apply, and then OK. Here we have our line around our map. So the next thing now, having added the border line and added the item on our map, is for us to produce our map. So kudos to all of us that have gotten to this stage. So for you to produce your map, you go to File, you go to Export Map, so my export map option also bring out an extension here which is missing, which will tell you the type of the file format. So for those of us that are connecting, you see different file format here. We have the JPG. Currently mine is fixed to JPG. We have the PDF file format. We have the PNG file format. So you can choose the file format as well as the resolution that you want to use, and then from there you now, once you specify, you now type in the name. If your map is saved, it will pick the name of the saved map. But if your map is not saved, you have to type in the name. In this case, we will leaving our map as GIS class map. So I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'll click on desktop, and I will now click on save. So it depends on the processor of your system. Once your processor is fast enough, it takes a little time. If it's not fast, it takes a while. So you have to be patient with it. So once it's done, at the bottom left of your screen, you'll see export complete. So I haven't done that. Let's see if we can locate our desktop, and then see if our map is on our desktop. So here we'll be looking for the GIS class 1. Then here we go, we have the GIS class 1. I'm going to open it so that we can visualize our map. Yeah, here we go. Our first map. I want to say kudos to all of us that could get to this stage and been able to follow through to this stage. Kudos to you. And those of us that find it difficult, you can rewatch the videos again, go through to previous tutorials, previous module, and then come back, and I guess and I know you get to this stage. So I want to say congratulations to those of us that have reached this stage. And next, like I said, we'll be going to advanced symbology, and also we'll be looking at how one can manipulate the attribute table, and then see how we can present our work in the symbology and further representation of our map. And at this point, I want to say thank you for joining us, and we've come to the end of this module, and we look forward to seeing you in the next module, and congratulations for getting to this stage. So thank you, see you in the next module.